Welcome to your Cyber Tips Explainer, where we make everyday people understand the cyber world around us. Today, we're going to connect the dots on a whole series of policy shifts that have been happening so fast it's been hard for anyone to keep up. Now, this is all based on some incredible reporting from Krebs on Security and other sources, and what we're going to do is show you how all these seemingly random events, well, they actually form a pattern. I know it's a lot, but our job is to piece it all together for you.
Okay, so how are we going to tackle this? Well, we've broken it down into 5 main parts, or acts, if you will, and each one builds right on top of the last. We're going to start with how the government is changing the very definition of a threat and take it all the way to what this could mean for your money and your privacy. It really is a story about connecting the dots. So let's jump right in.
All right, so first up, we've got to talk about the foundation for everything else we're going to cover. This is about a fundamental change in the very idea of a threat. You know, for as long as I can remember, the whole national security thing was about looking outward at dangers coming from other countries. But now, it's like that powerful microscope is being turned around, and it's being aimed right back at its own citizens.
And that leads to this. A pretty chilling question, right? Could your opinions actually make you a domestic terrorist? It sounds crazy, but you have to ask it because of these new policies. See, the focus isn't just on what people do anymore. It's shifting to what they believe. Let's take a look at the document that really kicked this whole thing off.
So, a journalist named Ken Klippenstein brought this to light. It's a directive called NSPM 7, and believe me, it is a game changer. It tells federal agents to target anti-American activity. And you might think, okay, that sounds normal, but here's the twist. This isn't just about stopping someone from building a bomb. For the very first time, a directive like this explicitly includes ideologies. That means your beliefs, your personal opinions, they could now be the very trigger for a federal investigation. That's a huge shift.
And just look at what's being flagged as a potential threat here. We're not talking about, finding bomb-making plans on a computer. The directive calls out things like disagreeing with immigration enforcement, or having what it calls radical gender ideology, or even being anti-capitalism. I mean, these are political stances, social beliefs. For decades, there was this really clear line. You could believe whatever you wanted as long as you weren't violent. This directive, it just kind of blurs that line completely.
And then, this new way of thinking gets put on steroids. A memo comes out from Attorney General Pam Bondi, and it doesn't just tell the FBI to keep an eye on people. No, it actually creates a cash reward system for regular citizens to report on each other. So you could get paid for reporting your neighbor for having some of those beliefs we just saw. Critics are worried this creates, this culture of suspicion, where just disagreeing on politics could land someone in a federal investigation.
And this isn't just for American citizens. This intense scrutiny is now being pointed at tourists, even from our closest allies. We're talking the UK, France, Japan. Just try to picture this. You're planning a vacation to the US, and you're told you have to hand over 5 years of all your social media posts and a decade of email addresses. This is really happening. And civil rights groups are, as you can imagine, sounding the alarm, saying the language used is so vague it could be used to block someone just because of their political views online.
Okay, so the government's attention is now turned inward. The big question is, what's happening to all the systems that were built to protect us from financial crime coming from the outside? Well, in this next part, we're going to see how those protections are being taken apart, brick by brick. It's almost like rolling out the red carpet for corruption and what a lot of experts fear could be a new wave of dirty money.
Wow. The first couple of months of 2025 were just a whirlwind of, demolition when it comes to anti-corruption tools. Let's actually walk through this because each one is a big deal. In February, they freeze enforcement of the Foreign Corrupt Practices Act. That's the FCPA. It's basically the main law that stops U.S. companies from bribing officials overseas. Gone. Same month, the Klepto Capture Task Force, the guys who were seizing yachts from Russian oligarchs? Disbanded. The FBI team that tracks foreign meddling in our politics? Also gone. Then in March, the Corporate Transparency Act gets suspended. This was a brand new law, and it was a huge deal. It forced those anonymous shell companies to reveal who actually owned them. So in just a matter of weeks, our main shields against dirty money were just gone.
So what does this actually look like in the real world? Well, the case of this crypto founder, Justin Sun, which was reported by Krebs on Security, is a pretty wild example. Let's just follow the chain of events. 1. The SEC charges Sun with some really serious fraud. 2. Sun turns around and invests a whopping $75 million into the Trump family's crypto project. 3. He gets an invite to an exclusive dinner with the president. And 4. Shortly after all that, the SEC drops its case against him. The timing was so, Interesting that lawmakers started demanding an investigation into what sure looks like a potential conflict of interest.
And we see this pattern pop up again with presidential clemency, the power to wipe away a federal sentence. Take Changpeng Zhao, the founder of Binance, the biggest crypto exchange in the world. He got pardoned after just 4 months for massive money laundering failures. And then you have David Gentile, who was involved in a Ponzi-like scheme, and Trevor Milton, who was convicted of defrauding investors. Both got clemency. Critics look at all this and say the message is crystal clear. If you commit financial crimes against regular folks, it's just not a top priority anymore.
Okay, this brings us right to the heart of what we're talking about today. The rules inside the country are being changed. The financial guardrails are being torn down. So what about our digital defenses? Well, now we're seeing a direct attack on the very agencies that are supposed to be our guardians in the cyber world.
And the main target here is an agency called CISA. That's the Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency. These are the folks whose job it is to protect literally everything, our power grid, our water, our hospitals. But according to reports from Bloomberg, their whole mission has been flipped upside down. Highly trained cyber experts are being yanked from their posts and told they're being reassigned to help with deportation efforts. And they were basically given an ultimatum: take the new job in a new city within a week or you're fired.
And the result was just immediate and devastating. Get this. A full 1/3 of CISA's entire staff is gone now, laid off, or they just resigned. That is a massive brain drain. And just when you thought it couldn't get worse, it did. During the government shutdown in October, most of the remaining staff were sent home, leaving just this tiny skeleton crew, only 900 people, working for free to defend the entire nation's critical infrastructure.
And look, this isn't just me saying this. The Cyberspace Solarium Commission, this is a bipartisan group that Congress itself created to make our cyber strategy stronger. They came out with a report that was a total bombshell. For the first time in its history, they found that America's cyber defenses have actually gotten worse. They've gone backwards. They call it an unprecedented setback, which is a pretty stark warning that all the progress we've made over the years is way more fragile than we thought.
And this problem goes way beyond just CISA. It's like a leadership vacuum across the board. The head of CISA, fired for saying the 2020 election was secure. The Cyber Safety Review Board, this is like the all-star team that investigates huge hacks. All 15 members were dismissed right in the middle of looking into a massive Chinese hack. The NSA and U.S. Cyber Command, no permanent leaders for months. And the group that helps local election officials with cybersecurity threats, shut down. It's like, one by one, the people in charge of our cyber defense have been taken off the board.
So, while all these official defenses are being hollowed out, something new and powerful rises up to fill that empty space. And this is the real wild card in the whole story. A new center of power that operates almost completely outside of the normal system of checks and balances, and it has incredible access to our most private information. It's called the Department of Government Efficiency. You might have heard of it as DOGE, and it's led by Elon Musk. Now, on paper, the mission sounded pretty straightforward. Just cut wasteful government spending. But what it actually did went way, way beyond that, getting deep into surveillance and pooling together massive amounts of data.
DOGE was basically given the keys to the kingdom. Its team, many of whom came from Musk's private companies, got access to the government's most sensitive, most protected databases. I mean, just think about it. Social Security data, Treasury data, Homeland Security data, all of it suddenly available to this one group. Reports say they blew right past the digital firewalls that are supposed to stop exactly that from happening. There was even a whistleblower who talked about seeing massive, really suspicious data downloads happening from DOGE accounts. At the same time, the system was fighting off login attempts from Russia.
So what about its main job, cutting waste? Well, the agency's website claimed it saved over $200 billion. But when independent groups took a look, they found the real number was probably closer to $2 billion. And here's the kicker. At the very same time DOGE was supposedly doing this, the president fired at least 17 independent inspectors general. These are the official, nonpartisan watchdogs whose entire job is to find waste and fraud. And some of them were reportedly investigating Musk's own companies.
Okay, so let's recap. We've seen this inward focus on citizens, the financial rules being tossed out, our cyber defenses being weakened, and this powerful new group rising up. So what does all this actually mean for you? This is where it stops being abstract and gets personal, hitting your privacy and your wallet. Let's just start with a number. $18 billion. That's how much money the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, the CFPB, had gotten back for everyday Americans by holding banks and lenders accountable.
This year, that agency was pretty much dismantled. They were ordered to stop most of their work, their staff is cut by 90%, and a brand new rule that would have protected your personal data from being sold by data brokers, yeah, that was just canceled.
And that really brings us to the final and most important question. When all the agencies that were created to protect your vote, to protect your data, to protect your money, when they are systematically taken apart, who does that job? The responsibility shifts. All those guardrails that we just sort of assumed would always be there are being removed one by one. And the question that leaves all of us with is, who's left to watch over our world, and what's going to take their place? Subscribe to this channel, like and share this video with someone you deeply care about to have a foolproof cyber defense.